Hi, my name is Lauren DeGuglielmo and I'm currently in my third year of primary school teaching. The science topic which was focused on during my placement block at Trinity Gardens Primary School was the same as the block I designed as part of Assessment 2 for my Viva presentation. The science topic was designed for a Year 7 cohort under the content descriptor of Classification helps organise the diverse groups of organisms. Unfortunately, one of the lessons had to be removed from the unit, creating an animal habitat, due to the lack of time for science to be taught by myself, as science isn't near at Trinity Gardens. Each class is given 1 hour of science a week, with my Year 7 class having science every Wednesday afternoon. With this, additional science lessons can be taught by the classroom teacher, however, I did not get the opportunity to observe this happening.
The science topic that I began to teach to students was introduced towards the end of my placement block. The ways in which this was undertaken was commencing with the prior knowledge discussion of the questions that were presented on the PowerPoint. The questions included: what is a habitat and what is usually in one? Name certain types of animal species. What are particular features of living organisms? How do we know an organism is alive? And why do we classify organisms? A brief overlook of students' responses in regard to these questions include that a habitat is a place that an animal lives. It provides animals with food, water and shelter. Different habitats are home to different animals, and there are many sorts of habitats around the world. For this question, students said that there are thousands of different species around the world. This could include tigers, lions, blue whales, platypus, horses, bears, birds, butterflies, and the list goes on. Here, students said the features include that living organisms breathe, grow, move, eat, drink, have senses, and respond to their environment. Here, students said that we classify organisms because it makes them easier to study for scientists, and it helps us find the differences between animals. Students' responses from this prior knowledge lesson helped to form a basis of what the students did or did not know. The following tasks that were set in place for students were to aid in further developing their knowledge, as well as closing any gaps within their learning caused by previous misconceptions. This next task required students to complete a Venn diagram of the differences and similarities between plants and animals. This required students to individually research on their iPads, creating extensive responses within their work. Here are some samples of students' work. Some of the students' responses were quite similar and others differed in terms of the detail and depth presented in their work. The ways in which I chose to collect these samples of work was completely at random. Most students said that both animals and plants eat, breathe, drink, have DNA, they are both living, they both feel pain, grow and contain cells. For animals, most of the students said that they move, make sounds, hunt for their food, breathe in oxygen and have a structured life cycle. For plants, most students said that they breathe in carbon dioxide, have cell walls, are rooted in one spot, they make their own food, grow from seeds and also produce seeds. As can be shown from the responses, students have been able to clearly distinguish both the similarities and differences between plants and animals through the help of the Venn diagrams. The next task in the unit involves students to focus upon, observe and evaluate the physical features of a plant. The first part of the lesson enabled students to identify living and non-living things around the school. Here are 2 work samples of this. As can be seen, living things included many animals and plants around the school, whereas non-living things included many random objects such as desks, pencils, balls and iPads. Next, both individually and in small groups, students were able to formulate a discussion and complete the worksheet provided around their plant observations. Observing students complete this task was a rewarding experience, as I was able to see them take control over their own learning make decisions on a plant to observe, and overall seeing them explore their school environment to notice specific details that they may not normally look out for. Here are some work samples. As can be seen from the work samples, most students decided upon a tree or a shrub to observe. Their drawings are very detailed and in-depth and clearly depict the aspects and features of the plants and their living spaces. This task in the unit involved students voting for a class pet and creating a habitat for this animal. However, due to a lack of time, my mentor and I both decided to leave this specific lesson out of the unit. With this, the last lesson within the time frame was left to work on the assessment piece, which included students to create a brand new animal discovery following the prompts and the rubric given out to each student. In allowing students to draw an animal of their choice in science encourages them to enhance engagement, to reason scientifically, to communicate, to be used as a learning strategy, and to learn to represent science phenomena. Here are some of the creative work samples designed by students. As can be seen, the students have come up with creative and scientific names, have listed and explained basic needs and habitat, and some have gone the extra step to include population and random/fun facts around their animal, as well as labelling the distinct features of their animal. For example, as can be seen on the tiger fin, the feet, trunk, eyes, tusks, etc. are all labelled with a brief explanation of each. The basic needs are listed and explained. And the population is stated, which was an extra add-on. Thank you for listening, and I hope you have enjoyed my unit of work.